Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Honorable Lecturer, Ms. Sylvia Meilani, SPDMM, and all of my beloved friends who watch this video, thank you for the opportunity has given to us to present this presentation about ethnic restaurant. Before we start the presentation, first, I would like to introduce the team. My name is Fatimah Kurna as the moderator, then Mifta Ainul Hakim as the first speaker, Maharani Pratiwi as the second speaker, Astri as the third speaker, Trinita Herliana as the fourth speaker, and Syakira Imtiyaazi as the last speaker. So let's start the presentation. The first session is about the definition and also characteristics of ethnic restaurant will be explained by Mifta. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mifta Hakim and I'm from ICLES. I would like to explain about definition and characteristic of ethnic restaurant. First, there is definition of ethnic restaurant. According to Walker and Walker, restaurants are a vital part of our everyday lifestyle because we are a society on the go. We patronize them several times a week to socialize, as well as to eat and drink. Restaurants offer a place to relax and enjoy the company of family, friends, colleagues, and business associates, and to restore our energy level before heading off to the next class or engagement. And definition of ethnic restaurant is a type of restaurant centered on a particular ethnicity or culture, such as Japan or Italy. Ethnic restaurants serve dishes from the respective ethnic groups, and often the restaurants are decorated with ethnic characteristics such as dominant or ornaments or colors. Example of ethnic restaurant are rembulan and warung Sunda. And next, there is characteristic of ethnic restaurant. Ethnic restaurant has a variety of characters ranging from price, quality, and form of service. Some ethnic restaurants make high-quality food at a high price, and some others make low-quality food at a low price. The characteristic of the ethnic restaurant is that use them that is more inclined towards the ethnicity of a region. When viewed from the service procedure in the style of a tribe in Indonesia, for example, the service of the Padang tribe, Sundanese, Japanese, and Ambonese. For serving Sundanese and Padang style food, they use family service but don't use cutlery to eat. However, for Sufi food, a spoon is provided to eat it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mifta, for the great presentation. The next session is about ethnic services will be presented by Maharani. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Fatimah, for the opportunity. Now, I would like to explain about ethnic services. The experience of eating out is the sum of impressions as well as various gratifications, such as food, quality of service, dining company, and interior during the visit. It was concluded that customers expect restaurants to meet social, intellectual, and sociological needs. An ethnic restaurant is a restaurant that serves cuisine from a different region and specific dishes such as Padang, Sundanese, Chinese, and others. Decoration and service at this restaurant is usually adjusted according to the relevant ethnicity. The first is Japan. In the land of cherry blossoms in the settings of the dining table, a tool in the form of an iron grill is intentionally provided, or in Japanese, it is called teppanyaki. Many services like this are offered in Japanese restaurants. Food ingredients are also cooked by the chef with the action directly in public. Japanese eating utensils are chopsticks and bowls. Even sometimes, for food that is difficult to take with a spoon, they still use chopsticks. The next is Indonesia. Ethnic service is grouped into service procedures in the style of a region. For example, for the presentation of Sundanese style and Padang style food, they use family service, but do not use cutlery to eat. However, for Sufi food, a spoon is provided to eat it. Family service means when food is served on a large platters meant for sharing. rather than as individual plates. Diners serve themselves from the food platters just like you might at home in your dining room. And the last is in China. In general, Chinese restaurants use the lazy Susan service system. Lazy Susan service is a type of service in which all food ordered by guests is prepared on plates or bowls in accordance with the applicable regulation in the restaurant, then placed on a small table with a plate on the dining table that can be rotated with a service set.
Thank you, Maharani, for the great presentation. The next session is about special rules, including etiquette and eating habits, will be presented by Astri. The time is yours.
Okay, Fatim. Here I will explain about the special rules in the restaurant. It's ASEAN etiquette. For instance, at a Chinese or Japanese meal, it's fine to hold the rich bowl thus to your mouth. In Korean custom, the bowl is left on the table, and then there are chopsticks. The art of which makes Chinese and Japanese food just as better to many people. Avoid resting your chopsticks vertical as usual in China and many other Asian countries. It also needs to follow the Asian custom of serving tea to your fellow diners before you fill your own teacup. In restaurant, it is possible to share a table with another dining party. Feel free to chat with our group as if we hold our own table. Avoid devouring food or lingering on the plate. Brand restaurant etiquette. Don't don't add food. When it comes to fine restaurants, don't be surprised if the food you order is served in quite small portion. Even so, you should never order additional portion for the same menu. This can of this can offend the chef and think the food served is unsatisfactory. Don't order steak with well done. For those who don't like how kids speak, you should avoid ordering this will in a friend restaurant. Almost all chefs in French grill their steak with a half-cooked level of maturity, such as rare or medium rare. So, for those who are used to eating steak with a well-done level, you should just choose another menu such as chicken or duck which is always cooked perfectly. Do not put leftover bread on the plate. Never eat leftover bread that has not been eaten off the plate. Apart from being unhygienic, this is an invalid act and can disturb the comfort of your opening. So, when there are breadcrumbs that are scattered, you should immediately clean the crab and place them on the sheet of dough neatly. Not allow it to spread butter on bread. When eating bread, often spread butter to add flavor, unlike the case with the French who are not used to buttering their bread. This is because the spread of butter is very to damage the original taste of the bread served. Next, Indonesian etiquette. The most common way of eating in Indonesia is lesehan. Lesehan means eating together on the floor. Usually, the food is covered with a marsh first. Some Indonesian restaurants even combine the two things. You can also continue to eat lesehan but as dessert table. In Indonesia, usually you ask your right hand to eat, but make sure the right hand has been washed first. If the dish is gravy, just as a spoon and fork, spoon in right hand, fork in left hand. Valid way of sitting in traditional Indonesia sitting etiquette. The male and female sets should be separated. This is because traditional in Indonesia are influenced by Islamic teaching. Another sitting etiquette is not leaning back while eating. Not leaning seems to be not only ethnic in Indonesia, but also one of the ethics of international banquet. The, the way of sitting is also regulated in Japan. Women must sit cross-legged and cross-legged for men. Also, don't put your left hand on the table when you're eating with your hand. Place your left hand on your thing. The line of eating starts from the oldest or the most respected to the youngest. If sitting next to him, it would be more for it to offer to help pick up food. This this rule also applies when you want to add water to the glass. Don't forget to offer extra water to the person next to you. If if you are going to take food that is far away, for telling extra help from people who are close to the food. In addition, always ask sharing hand when you want to take, drink, or food back. It's okay to chat with the person next to you, but make sure you 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 read not chewing food. Talking with your mouth full of food is considered rude, especially if the food in your mouth falls apart and makes you cook. To be polite, cover your mouth with your hand when this happens, with your hand with the tissue or cloth provided. Thank you, Fatimah.
Thank you, Astri, for the great presentation. Next session is about ethnic menu will be present by Trinita. The time is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity, Fatimah. Now, I will explain about the menu ethnic restaurant in Indonesia. Ethnic menu is a menu that is served in ethnic restaurant with characteristic, style, and uniqueness in accordance with the ethnicity of region. In Indonesia itself has a variety of ethnic restaurants which until now already have branched throughout Indonesia. For example, at Padang restaurant, they sell a menu with a strong taste of spice, dominantly having a distinctive spice taste and a thick taste due to coconut milk. The menu is like rendang and green chili sauce. Unlike the typical Sundanese menu, which usually has a mild taste, Sundanese is also rich in various types of sambal with a simple presentation such as fish paste, karedok lenca, and fresh vegetable. But we usually call it lalaban. Furthermore, the ethnic Javanese menu has a savory, salty, and strong taste of spice. The Japanese people don't really like spicy flavor, unlike Padang and Sundanese. The menu is like gudeg, rawon, or cenil. After that, these are some example of the many ethnic menus that exist in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Trinita, for the great presentation. The next, the next and the last session is about atmosphere at ethnic restaurant will be presented by Syakira. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Fatimah. I'm Syakira Imtiyaazi from A class. Uh, I would like to explain about atmosphere. The unique environment of an ethnic restaurant can add value to the pleasure for consumers, which is reflected in the authenticity of the food, and to feel or experience other culture as well as a means of communication between food, foreign cultures, and local customers. To create a unique experience about an ethnicity or culture, not only the original taste of the food plays an important role, but also the atmosphere that supports the authenticity of the culture carried by the ethnic restaurant must be carefully prepared by the restaurant owner. The authenticity of the atmosphere in an ethnic restaurant can significantly affect positive and negative emotion. There is a difference in the atmosphere in a Sundanese ethnic restaurant with a Japanese ethnic restaurant. The Sundanese ethnic restaurant carries a beautiful and simple theme or concept, like Sapuli di Resto. It presents the concept of eating in the rice fields with a thick Sundanese feel, so that when guests dine at Sapuli di Resto, it is as if the guest is a farmer and eats food in a hut in the middle of the rice fields, accompanied by Sundanese gamelan music. Similarly, in Japanese ethnic restaurants that carry a traditional theme with the concept of the Yogyakarta place, like the Sekar Kedaton restaurant, which has the exterior and interior architecture of the buildings of the Japanese nobility in the past. It feels as if you are eating in a colonial era noble house accompanied by typical Japanese gamelan music. Thank you.
So, that's the last session of today's presentation. Let me take the conclusion of this presentation. Ethnic restaurant is a restaurant that serves dishes from the respective ethnic groups, such as Chinese, Japanese, French, or Indonesian. The atmosphere and decoration of the restaurant will reflect authenticity and please the guests more. There are also different kinds of service and etiquettes in each ethnic restaurant. Hopefully, this presentation will give benefit for us. Thank you for your attention. Sorry if there were any mistakes during the presentation. That's all from us and see you later.